Hey everybody, and welcome to Let Me Look That Up, the show where we use the internet to try to answer life's trivial questions. I'm Giovanni, and I'll be your host for today's episode.
I'm Justin, and this week I'm bringing you a question about something that's been on my mind for years.
And I'm Tristan, and I'm not allowed to do any internet searches today, but don't worry, I'm as smart as a whip.
We've all been there. You're hanging out with a couple of friends, and suddenly a random question pops up like, why are eggs in the dairy section?
That's when somebody pulls out their phone to see if they can find an answer.
And that's what this show's all about. Just a couple of friends trying to find answers to life's mysteries.
Finally, a friendly reminder. The three of us are, at best, hobbyists who are mostly relying on random stuff we found on the internet. So you know you can trust us, because if it's on the internet, it was totally peer-reviewed. Hey Justin.
Yo.
I can tell by the stars in your eyes that you want to talk about constellations. Or are you just happy to see me?
I'm just happy to see you.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, but really, constellations, right?
Yeah, constellations. But first to get there, I brought a little visual aid for Tristan specifically.
Right.
Here's a constellation that most people see pretty much every day. Tristan, can you describe what you're looking at?
All right. So Justin is holding up a ball cap that has the Subaru logo on it, which is that ellipse with several stars in it, a big one, a couple of little ones, and it says Subaru.
In big bold font.
Yeah. The fancy hat. I like it.
So my question is, what's the constellation in the Subaru emblem?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is it's the Subaru constellation.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Everybody learned that in college or high school, right? Subaru.
College.
I didn't learn my constellations until college.
As a college student, we all crawled into that
Right, the Star
lab thing.
Yeah.
Only like 5 of us could fit because apparently we got, way bigger.
It's like
too small.
Oh man, those are smaller than I can remember.
Like,
Man.
and when I think back to it, like those rooms smelled funny.
Yeah.
As an adult, I think I would be able to identify what those funny smells are, and I would like it less. Our teachers were heroes.
But as a kid, Star Labs were like the best day.
Yeah.
It was like the
I
dream
love
come
those
true.
days, yeah.
Like, yeah. The pinnacle, like when you were in the parachute out on the playground, when the teacher brought out the parachute, when you were in the parachute, you were thinking Star Lab soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did not learn constellations in college. We learned them much earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tristan, what would you guess that constellation is?
I mean, I don't know.
Actually, I think a better question to start with is, what constellations do you know?
Okay.
List your top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 constellations. Here we go. We got the Big Dipper.
Uh-huh.
We've got the Little Dipper.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got Dipper from Gravity Falls.
No.
No, that's not a. Okay.
There's a scorpion up there.
Yeah. Scorpio. Yeah.
Scorpio. I mean, I guess there's those things that we could talk about. There's Orion and his belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ursa Major.
No, you already said that one.
Dang it, that's the
Technically,
Big Dipper.
two.
technically Ursa Major and Ursa
Big
Minor.
Dipper and Orion are also the same constellation.
Yeah, I'm just naming all the same things. Polaris. That's a star.
That's a singular star.
That's a
That's
star.
one star.
I know.
This constellation gets 1 star.
Wait,
Virgo.
Justin, did you?
That's one, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Justin,
okay,
did
yeah.
you say that Orion and the Big Dipper are the same?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, aren't they? Like, isn't?
No.
Oh no.
No. Orion's in the southern sky and the Big Dipper's in the northern sky, in the northern hemisphere. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, sorry we're only talking about northern hemisphere.
Yeah. Sorry,
constellations.
Australia.
That's a real north hemisphere-ish of us.
Yeah. I think there's a unicorn in the southern hemisphere.
That sounds way better than a bear.
Yeah, actually, that is pretty cool.
All right, I'll list my favorite ones. The Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, You've got the queen lady who's sitting in the throne. I think that's starts with an L. You've got Orion, and then you got his dog, which the Sirius star is part of that dog. Scorpio's pretty great. Do I need one more?
I think that was 4. Yeah.
You said 4.
Ooh, I mean, I think the only other one that I know is it Pleiades, the Seven Sisters? Is that the right name for that?
I think it's actually pronounced the Perseids.
Oh, well, boy, oh boy, am I wrong. Okay.
So, guys, I made an oopsie. So the Perseids are a meteor shower that occur every once in a while, and Pleiades are the Seven Sisters constellation. I mixed up the names. Whoops.
I'm gonna sidetrack us for just a second. So one of my jobs is to work out on the water at night, and a lot of times I ask them to like point out the constellations they know, and they point at Orion's belt and they call that the Big Dipper, and then they point at the Seven Sisters and call that the Little Dipper, and I get so angry at them. I mean, it's not completely their fault. Both the Big Dipper and Little Dipper are like on the north side, which is where all the lights from the city are. And so they're really hard to see unless it's like a super dark night. So I get it. Like you can't actually see them most nights because it's just too bright. But yeah, like, ooh, boy, did that hurt my heart.
So I'm actually glad you brought up the Seven Sisters, or otherwise known as the
Pleiades.
Kind of interesting that you already knew they were called the Seven Sisters, but
well, that's because it's in English and I can remember that name.
He did call it by the wrong Latin name.
Right?
But this constellation right here, the Subaru emblem, happens to be the
Pleiades.
No way.
But that's only 6.
Also kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at the logo right now, and there are only 6 stars on it. So
how could it be the Seven Sisters if it's 6 stars? Riddle me that, Batman.
What happened to the 7th sister?
You got any ideas?
I need answers, and I need them now.
All right, I've got a question. Does the word Subaru have anything to do with the constellation? Is that the 7th sister, Subaru? Sister Subaru?
So, from what I've learned is the name of the constellation, that constellation in Japan is Subaru.
Okay, so it is the Subaru constellation. I was right
Yes.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
All this time I kind of thought it was just someone's last name, but no, it's the name of the constellation.
Okay.
So does it mean 7 sisters in Japan?
Or 6 sisters in Japan?
6?
That's something we should probably look up because...
All right, that's a great question.
That's a great question because my little knowledge of Japanese, I think ba means sister, so it might be in there.
All right. I'll put that on my list of things to look up.
But yeah, that's...
Okay, so why does... Yeah, like there's a number discrepancy here. What's going on?
Yeah, so if you look up in the night sky at the Seven Sisters, you'll probably only see 6 of those stars.
With my vision, I see just like a big blur. It's like one blurry area.
And also, yeah, if you're in Southern California, you won't see them at all. So,
Okay, so you're saying the naked eye, you'll see 6?
just 6.
Okay.
But look at them with a telescope, and there are 7. In fact, under the big one that's on the Subaru logo, I should point out too that the Subaru logo isn't actually to scale as to what the constellation looks like.
You mean that one is not that much larger than the 5 other
Yeah,
ones?
they're not as orderly as this logo, but there is one big star out of the Seven Sisters, and that 7th star that's missing from the logo is next to that big star.
Okay, so part of the reason why we see that big star is so bright is because it's really 2 stars?
Yep. Well, actually, no. It's... Oh, geez, I missed that.
Yes, but no.
Really, it's because that big star is just brighter than the one next to it.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of, if you think in 3D space, the other star is sort of behind it.
Okay, from our perspective, yeah, that makes sense. All right.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. Oh, it gets even crazier, especially when you try to figure out, well, okay, if you can only see 6 stars from where we're standing right now, like ancient people, like how did these ancient Japanese people figure out that there were 7 stars to call it the Seven Sisters?
So if we're using the Subaru logo as a hint, it kind of indicates that they didn't figure out there were 7.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what
Greeks, I assume, did.
what does the word mean? What do the words mean?
Yeah, well, what does Subaru
What are the
mean? We do need to
root
figure that out.
Because if the name that they gave them suggests 7,
Mhm.
then they knew there were 7, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Because
Uh-huh.
in English we call it the Seven Sisters.
Mhm.
But what is the root word that they came from in the Greek and the
Yeah, I
Japanese?
should probably look up exactly what
Pleiades.
means. I feel like that's in the Greek myth. That's the name of the sisters. So where they get 7 though is a bit interesting.
Tell me.
So at this point, it is still a bit of an archaeological mystery, but a physicist has come up with the theory that over the course of thousands of years, constellations move. So at one point, a long time ago, you could see all 7 stars, but now, because big sister star and little sister star kind of move close to each other, you can't see them now.
Celestial drift.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I like hate to interrupt right here, but Subaru means like unity, and
Oh,
the reason why they use it is because Subaru plus 5 other companies merged into one company, and then they when they did that, they kind of thought of the stars as the different
well, now I'm wondering if
different companies.
if my information about it being the name of the constellation was wrong.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like they're definitely related. Like it definitely they picked the design to represent that constellation. But
Maybe it's just like a happy coincidence.
right.
Interesting.
So they're kind of like Audi with their 4 rings, except they had 7 different companies.
Wait, is the rings of Audi are the different companies coming?
So that's
I'm
kind of
learning so much today.
that's probably another left for another episode. But yeah, the 4 rings in the Audi logo represent 4 different German automakers that formed a union back in the 30s
That's
to
cool.
form Audi.
Mm.
Although the confusing part is one of those rings is also Audi. So so it's really 4 rings under one name.
One ring to rule them all.
Yeah. And that ring ended up being Audi.
No, I think you're right. The Japanese call them Subaru.
Okay. So my information was right. It would have really sucked for this episode if all my information on that was like, oh wait, that's not right. Oh no.
Oh, you know what though? It might have been the other direction.
Oh no.
They may have like renamed it Subaru after the car company.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's saying in the 8th century it was man, I like do not ask. Whew. Mutsuraboshi, 6 stars is like a direct translation of 6 stars.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know when it
So at some point they changed the name to the Subaru.
doesn't describe why the cluster is now known as Subaru, but it does mention the Subaru car. So yeah, they could be related. It could be unrelated. I don't know. It's a mystery for later. Okay, so we were getting back to why do the Greeks know that there were 7 sisters, right? You were explaining that?
Right.
Yeah.
Hit me. So the planetary drift made the star move.
Yeah, pretty much. So 100,000 years ago, it was pretty visible by the naked eye that there were 7 stars. And at that point is probably when people started creating a 7 sisters myth.
Okay, and then that just stuck long enough that when we stopped being able to see the 7th one, we still were able to talk about it.
Yeah, and they still kept calling them the 7 sisters. And it's technically right, even though we can only see 6.
And technically correct is the best kind of correct. So
Yes.
I feel like the mythology needs to grow, though, with the moving of the constellation. Whatever the mythology is, to also say, hey, the 7th sister, she was shy, so she hides behind or something, just to like, you know,
I
it
do
come
think
full
that is
circle.
actually part of the mythology, is that the 7th younger sister is super shy and wants to stick around with the oldest.
Oh, cute. Also, apparently I did not pay attention to mythology class.
You You might want to check me on that one, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
I mean, I forgive you if you don't remember constellations from, what, 5th grade. If you did sit in a star lab when you were in college, then you have no excuse. I am going to go look up the actual Seven Sisters mythology. Tristan, while I get to the bottom of this, can you tell our listeners how they can support our quest to confuse Google's algorithms?
I definitely can. We love to make this show, and we love coffee, and we need your help for both. The very best thing you can do to help us out is to tell a friend or two. For those of you who want to go above and beyond, you can support us by donating dollar bills at buymeacoffee.com/letmelookthatup. We recently included the option to sign up for a monthly donation. We'd also like to take a moment to thank listeners who have supported us. Here is an outstanding 5-star review on Apple Podcasts from Big Brother 87. He said, "My friends research things. This is literally true, but that's also the format of the show. People you might not know chat and look things up like they know you, and then kind of pretend to know stuff. It's really fun. Thanks, Big Brother. We love pretending to know things." So, Giovanni.
Yes.
Did you find some answers for us?
Oh boy, did I find some answers for us. I am so excited about these answers.
All right.
Okay. So theconversation.com, which claims to have academic rigor and journalistic flair. This is the first time I've ever been on this webpage, so, it is what it is. But they say that not only does the myth, which I'll briefly recap for you guys here in a second, cover the fact that one of the Seven Sisters is no longer visible, it might also be the oldest story in human history that's still around.
What?
They say that the myths about the Seven Sisters may reach back over 100,000 years.
That's pretty cool.
Like, how could we know that? I don't know, but they say that it might be true.
Cave drawings.
Cave drawings. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So part of the reason why they think it's so old is because a lot of different cultures have the same story or a similar story. And that would make sense. So like Aboriginals in Australia and then like the Greeks have a similar story. And they theorize that part of the reason why they may have that is because the story was first told when they were not separated. So that is crazy cool.
Wow.
So in Greek mythology, Pleiades were the 7 daughters of the Titan Atlas, and he sent them up into the sky to be stars in order to avoid them being raped by Orion. Good job, Orion.
Stellar guy.
I regret saying that he's one of my favorite constellations.
Yeah, well, he might be a favorite constellation, but he's not our favorite guy, that's for sure. So Atlas asked Zeus to transform them into stars. So Zeus did that. But it says, the story says one of the sisters fell in love with a mortal and went into hiding, which is why we only see 6 stars. So the myth accounts for why one of the stars is no longer visible. So that is crazy cool.
I'm curious how they got there if the story is so old. They must have been able to see that 7th star at some point because of how old they suppose the story is. But at what point did they start changing the story to adapt to that?
I mean, when some precocious 5-year-old be like, "But Daddy, I don't see a 6 star or 7 star."
Well, you see, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picture a young Homer just accosting his dad, "But I only see 6. Where's the 7th one?" And he's like, "Well, it's your mom."
It's your mom.
She loves me. She came from the sky. It's your mother.
You can't see her up there because she is here.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. Solved it.
He was
Mystery solved.
Covering up a mom joke.
And then that's how the pickup line of "Did you fall from the stars?" or whatever. I'm bad at pickup lines.
So let's go ahead and take a moment to recap here. The things that we should have learned were what, Justin?
So we were trying to figure out how ancient people knew that there were 7 stars when we can only see 6.
Okay, and do we know?
Our best theory right now is that Yes, a very, very long time ago, like 100,000 years ago,
Ridiculous.
the stars hadn't shifted in a way that the seventh star was blocking the sixth. So they could clearly see seven back then. And
Yeah.
now today, can't see that sixth one behind the seventh.
Right, because it moved. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And then some other things that we learned was that the Subaru is the name of the constellation in Japan. And it probably predates the car company.
Probably.
And then we're not super sure about that one. And then that the myth is, like we said, super duper old about the seven sisters, and it does account for the fact that there's only six sisters visible now, because one of them fell in love with Homer Simpson. I think is where we landed on that one.
Homer Simpson's dad.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Abe
yeah.
Simpson.
Abe, and came down to Earth to fall in love with Abe. Is that right? Does that cover everything?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Good work, team. But hold on, there's more. The learning doesn't stop just because we have covered our topic for the day. Listeners have done the real work of looking things up, and we wanted to share a few with you. This is Listener Lookups. Our lookup for today comes from friend of the show, Alec. Alec says, "Dude, podcast is great. Super excited to see how it grows. Also, I don't think it was decided in the episode, but I think chili technically counts as a stew, ? Alec, we can't argue with your logic, but before we can fully buy in, we'll need to see the link. We all know you can't be a stew expert unless you have a website. We would love to have you join the discussion too. Send us a message on our social media with your thoughts on today's topic or questions you've got on your mind. Honestly, I just want you to send me a random fact that puts a smile on your face when you're feeling down. Tristan, Justin, did you guys know that sea otters hold hands when they nap so they don't drift apart?
Aw.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Let Me Look That Up or Facebook at Let Me Look That Up Pod.
Again, if you like the show, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. If you enjoy listening to us looking that up, you can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/letmelookthatup.
All our links are in the description or on our website, letmelookthatup.com.
Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Let Me Look That Up. I'm your bisky boy, Giovanni.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Tristan.
Bye.
Pleiades.